So now let's take a look at combining Java and HTML. And the way we're going to do that is in a JSP page. We're just going to stick the Java in among the HTML elements. This is the oldest, least sophisticated, least elegant way to do it. We're doing it only as an example of how the Java is parsed and the variables are output. So to do this, I'm going to go to File, New, Dynamic Web Project, and I'm going to call it Date Test. Apache Tomcat 9 as a runtime is what I want. And if I expand that project, I can see web content. Web content is where the HTML files go. In this case, they're going to be .jsp. They're going to end in .jsp. The .jsp file, the .jsp extension, tells the server it's going to need Tomcat to interpret the Java that's inside of there. So I'm going to right-click Web Content and choose New, JSP file. I'm going to name it Index. And I get to pick the type, the template type. This new JSP file, HTML, is the template I want. But the problem I have the first time I use this, this HTML is 4.01. And I need to change it to HTML5. To do that, I'm going to go to JSP Templates and scoot this over until I see New JSP file, HTML. Click to highlight that and edit it. Now I've already edited mine, but you will just need to grab the contents of this file. I'll make it available to you, and you can see it's got a page directive here at the top that declares this is a Java page, and the encoding type. It sets the doc type to HTML5, and it has all of the common things that we need for an HTML5 document. So you'll just highlight this and copy it and come into the editor, template editor here, and highlight and paste. And OK, and apply and close. So now in the future, all of our JSP files will have this HTML5 template. And I'll change the title to be what this page is about, which we'll call it Java Date Test. And inside the body, just some text. And I'll save this up, and I want to run it to make sure things are going well. So I'll left click the project to highlight it. Right click the project and choose Run As, Run on Server. And it looks like it's working correctly. So now I need to actually put the Java in this page. I'm going to be working with the Java date utility. So the first thing I need to do is come up here to the top of the page and import that. So I'm going to use another page directive. I'm going to import Java util date. I like to stick my Java between the head and the body, so I'm going to open a scriptlet, which is just a % there, and put my Java right in there. I'm going to create a variable of the data type date, and I'm going to call that today. So this is just populating the variable today, which is of the data type date with the date and time right now. So now that I have that, I'm going to just dump it out into my HTML using an expression. And the expression just takes whatever is in the Java variable and puts it out using the toString method. So it just dumps out the contents of whatever's in the variable. So let's run this again and see what happens. Actually, we can probably just refresh the page. Let's see. Yes. And that is the details of the Java date command. Now, I do want to manage this project with GitHub. So I'm in Git. I need to get into the Eclipse projects folder and for date test here. So let me see where I'm at. I'm in users mic. I need to go into documents. And inside of documents, I need to get into the Eclipse projects. And inside of Eclipse projects, I need to go into date test. And if I look, I have build source web content. So I'm in the right location. I'll create a repository. I'll add all of my files. And I'll create a commit. Okay, looks like it worked fine. So now let me go back to the project. I don't like the format of that date, so I'm going to use the Java text simple date format. So I need to import that. And then inside of my scriptlet, I'm going to create a variable of the data type simple date format. And I'm going to call it international date. And in here, I need to specify what I want it to look like. So international date is usually day, day, month, month, year, year, year. So this international date is just this format. So now I need to take today and format it using this international date format. So after I've imported the simple date format, I'm going to use it. So here I've created a new variable called international format. It's of the data type simple date format. And I create a new instance of simple date format. And this is how I want the date formatted. And most of the rest of the world uses day, day, dash, month, month, dash, year, 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 year. US does it a little different. We'll format that way in a minute. And then I need to create a new variable to hold this date after it's been formatted. So it's going to be of the string data type. I'm calling it international today. And I'm going to use this reference variable right here. Dot format is the method, and I'm formatting today, which is actually grabbing the date. So today grabs the date, simple date format. This creates this formatting for us. And then we create a third variable that references this variable and uses the today. There we go. Day, month, year. Okay, so I like the way that works, so let me go ahead and commit that. Things look good there. All right, and the last thing I want to do is I'll do one for a common US format. So I'm going to use these two things again and modify them. Notice if I don't make modifications, it doesn't like duplicate file names. So let me call this US format. And in the US, a lot of times we see month, month, slash, day, day, slash, year, 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 year. Let me call this US today. And it's going to use US format. and format the today variable. So I'm collecting today one time and I'm using it twice, formatting it two different ways according to these format instructions. So let me just grab all this. And I'm going to dump it back out with an expression. Looks good. Simple date format's working like I like. Let me commit that. And at this point, it's working with Git, just like we did before. I would create a remote repository on GitHub. I would link this to that remote repository, and then I could push it up. But for right now, we're going to manage our project using Git bash, just like we've been doing, and using our Eclipse editor for editing the code.